you over, you just can't breathe. Do you feel your bones start to shake?
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to do two looks with one of the new ColourPop palettes. They came out with a set of 3 butterfly themed palettes. I only picked one of them because, quite frankly, ColourPop, you know what? I'm sorry. I love you, but I just can't keep up. One was all I can handle right now. So I picked up the Gimme Butterflies version, which looks like this on the inside. It's a lot of bright pinkish coral shades, which the reason I gravitated toward this right now is just because it was a bit different than the palettes we've been using a lot lately. So as usual, I'm just gonna do 2 looks with it. We'll hang out, whatever. I'll timestamp everything in the description down below. I'll list all the products that I use on my face down below, all of that. Anything that you need will be in the description. Before we get into the video today, I have like 1 or 2 things that I wanna talk about and ask you guys. If you don't give a flying shit what happens here on this channel, that's also fine. But if you don't wanna hear that, you could just skip to this timestamp and you will get right into the first look. But before you do that, don't forget to like and subscribe because I'm gonna say that afterwards and now you're gonna miss it and I don't want you to miss it because I want you to do it. So for those of you who've been waiting for the return of Get Ready With Me, which if you're new around here is my book club series on this channel where I just get ready and talk about a book that we've all given ourselves about like a month or a couple of weeks to read. I'm going to be reigniting that series officially the week of January 6th. And the book we're going to be reading is Zero Repeat Forever by G.S. Pendergrass. I will link everything that you need to know in the description down below, as well as put all of this information in writing so you have it to refer back to if you like. But essentially, we are going to be reading the entire book because it is not as long as the other books that I have done in the past. It's also not as in-depth as far as like backstory and lore. So I think we can do it all in one video, and that is when we'll be doing that. And I am quite excited. I'm currently reading the 2nd book in that series, which is called Cold Falling White. And we are going to do that one afterward, obviously, because that's just the way series go. But I'm just like working on it now and like getting my first read through done, like to get ahead of the game. And so far, oh, I'm enjoying it. This is one of my favorite series of all time. I asked like last year and somebody recommended this on my Instagram story and I have been obsessed with it ever since. So I hope you guys like it as much as I do. Like I said, the information for that will be down below. The second thing I wanted to talk about before we get into the first look today is I wanted to ask you guys what you think of adding in some videos that are more like a typical get ready with me style, or maybe a little bit of a Q&A style, because a couple of you have left comments recently saying that, you know, you want to have videos where maybe you get to know me a little better as a person, which I feel like I filter a lot of my personality into my videos to begin with, just because I can't help just be myself. A few of you have specifically requested that, and so I wanted to ask in general what your thoughts are on doing things like that. Like I would still pick something current to do my makeup with so that you guys get to see something new and exciting, but maybe instead of a get ready with me, we were talking about a book, just talk about like whatever the hell's on my mind at the moment or something once in a while, just to throw it in there and add like a little bit of variety to my channel. Because as much as I love doing these multiple looks videos and creating looks for you guys, like that's what makes me so excited. Like I love coming up with looks and like having you guys recreate them and stuff. But sometimes I do like 6 of them in a row and I'm like, is this freaking boring for people? Like I feel like we need to switch it up a little bit. So let me know what your thoughts are, or if you have any other suggestions of like types of videos you'd like to see, please let me know, because I definitely want to make sure, especially going into the new year, that we keep things fresh on this channel and just we're always growing together as like a little group, you know what I mean? Anyways, if you're new around here and you just sat through that whole thing, obviously you're having a good time. So you might want to go ahead and subscribe before you forget, or you know, before you change your mind. And before we get into it, if you don't mind taking a quick second, I would really appreciate it if you left a like on this video, because it's very helpful and it helps me to, I don't know, quite frankly, feel good about myself and all the work that I put into these. Okay, I think that's pretty much all I had to get out of the way before we got into the actual makeup today. I'm sorry if I rambled a little bit. I had a lot of coffee today and also cold medicine, which makes me crazy. Okay, so anyway, look number 1, let's get started. The ColourPop Gimme Butterflies palette. Oh, hey. Funny running into you here. To start the first look, I'm gonna grab my BH number 6. Wow, big surprise. Can't believe she threw such a curveball at us today. I'm gonna go into the shade Making Moves. I'm gonna start with that as like my high crease transition shade. So I'm just gonna place that kind of above my natural crease, bringing that right the way over, like all the way, so it's almost into my nose bridge. Next, I'm gonna grab a clean blending brush. This is a, what is this? This brush literally has not even a whisper of a label left on it. Not a brand, not a number, nothing. I think it's a Morphe brush, maybe? But whatever, it's a clean blending brush. I'm gonna use that to blend the edge. Okay, that's blending really nicely so far. Okay, all right. On my BH number 7, which is pretty much the same shape but smaller, I'm gonna go into the shade Glider, which is this really vibrant reddish bright pink. I'm gonna start putting that more directly through the crease, still keeping it above the natural crease though. Ooh, she has treated us to some fallout. The shade is worth the fallout though. Wow, that's really vibrant and pretty. I'm just gonna flick the end of that shape out a little bit with the brush. I'm gonna go back into the same color again, but this time on a Sigma E36 brush. I'm just gonna use that to continue to build up that shade in the more concentrated portion of the crease area. Going back into the number 7 brush, I'm gonna go back into that same shade again, and I'm gonna pack that on the outer corner of the lid. I'm gonna do that cleanup in just a second, but first, let's just use it all the way to where we're gonna use it. Do you know what I mean? So that we don't have to clean up twice. So I'm gonna take a little bit more of that shade and pop that on the inner corner as well. Let me tell you something. If you ever happen to think that drinking coffee and then immediately drinking a lime seltzer afterwards is a good idea, let me tell you, my friend, you are wrong. Wow. Wow, that just tasted bad in my mouth. Oof. I'm gonna grab my Urban Decay Stay Naked Concealer and my NABLA Cut Crease Brush. I'm gonna put some of that on the back of my hand, and I am going to create a spotlight area in the center of the eyelid. Can you believe there was a time where I thought I hated cut creases and that I never did them, and that I didn't think that I wanted to ever do them ever? Because like now I do them all the time. And I don't know what I was thinking. I think I just didn't know how to do them good enough, so I thought I hated them. I'm gonna pat the edges of that to just make blending a little bit easier for us momentarily. I'm gonna grab my MAC 221S brush. I'm gonna go into the shade Over It, just this nice duochrome peachy gold shade. I'm gonna pack a bunch of that onto that flat brush, and I'm gonna put it over the whole area where we just put down that concealer. I'm gonna blend the edges of that again in a second, but for now, I'm gonna take the same brush and go into the brightest shade in here, Your Catch, pack that right in the center to brighten up that little highlighted area. And I'm gonna bring it across the whole top line where we put that concealer, because I find that bringing the brightest shade right up to that edge helps to like create that line of definition between the spotlight and the blend, you know? I'm gonna pick up the same brush that I used earlier and just tap over the edge of those light colors to help blend it into the pink. I kind of want to have like a nod to the idea of this butterfly on the eye look, but I don't want it to be very literal. So there's going to be like a rhinestone detail over a black wing, which I'm about to add right now. I'm going to do the wing now and then add the detailing later, because I just think it'll work out better that way as far as like how clean the look comes out. So for now, I'm going to create a big, thick wing, a thick daddy wing. If you don't find a wing this thick to be flattering for your eye shape, personally I do. I really love a big fat wing on me. You could totally make a thinner one, and then when you add rhinestone detailing later, if you choose to recreate that part of the look, you could just use smaller ones. It'll still work out the same way. So I'm gonna grab my Urban Decay Perversion Waterproof Mascara, and I'm just gonna go ahead and create a big old fat wing with it. I concealed and put down oh so much powder. First of all, because I felt like with a look like this, I really needed like that like flawless, perfected under eye area going on, you know? I feel like that helps it sometimes. But also because that pink shade had a good amount of fallout, and we want to make sure that we protect the under eye concealer because I'm going to be putting more of that shade on the lower lash line as well. So I'm going to take my beige number 7 again. I'm going to go back into glider. Just going to run that under the lower lashes and blend it out into the same shape that we did at the top. Just kind of have it all meet together out there. For the waterline, I'm going to grab my Tarte Fake Awake pencil, just brighten that up with a nude. I'm gonna grab my NABLA small pencil brush and go back into You're a Catch. I'm gonna use that to highlight the inner corner. I don't wanna go too heavy with that because I want it to still look pink. So I'm just kind of blending it over the pink that we put down and using it as a highlight, quite frankly. I'm gonna grab this little container with all clear rhinestones in it. They're just various sizes. And I'm going to pick a variety of sizes and kind of reflect the size of the wing with the size of the rhinestone, if that makes sense. I'm gonna pick the biggest one first and like place it where it makes the most sense and then start working out from there. I'm gonna try picking them up with a wax pencil today. I might go back and forth between this and tweezers depending on the size of the gem that I'm choosing at the moment, and we will be gluing them down with a House of Lashes clear glue. Oh, also, if you plan on wearing lashes with a look like this, make sure that you leave enough space between the lash line and the gem. Otherwise, you're gonna have a mighty hard time gluing your lashes on. Trust me, I've done that by accident. Oh God, so many times. All right, I'm gonna go finish this other eye. I'm gonna add lashes and mascara, which is so gonna make the whole thing come together in this case. And then we will add a lip to this look, which will also make things come together. Okay, I put on House of Lashes, Stella Luxe as usual. I finished my skin, I filled in my moles because I felt like doing that today. And I'm gonna do a mauvey nude lip. I'm gonna be using one of the new NABLA lipsticks that I used in the previous video. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'm loving these lipsticks. They have a couple of little hiccups here and there, but for the most part, astounding, stunning, beautiful. My compliments to the chef. I'll link that video up here if you missed it. But I'm gonna use the color Eve today, which is kind of like, it's pretty nude. It has like a little bit of a mauve-y undertone to it. And I'm gonna pair that with the Rip Lip Pencil from Haus Laboratories in the color Myth. I hesitate to use this because I love the formula of this, but I'm starting to think that I might be allergic to it because every time I wear one of these, the end of the day, like the line across the top of my lip is like mad chapped, like so chapped. And I've noticed the pattern that it happens with these, but I'm gonna use it anyway. And this is the first look. All right, for the second look, I want to do something with the more like mauve tones in here, and I kind of think I want to keep it soft, but also add some jewels to it. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going with it, but I just have an idea. I know what path I want to take a step down. So on BH number 6, I'm going to go into the shade Labyrinth. Labyrinth is interesting. It's kind of like a grayish, but also a mauve. Let's see how it looks on the lid though, because sometimes that can be very different. A lot of times colors like this wind up just looking straight up gray on me. Nope, that definitely still reads as mauve, which is nice because it's always disappointing when you put down like a shade and you're like, it's gonna be a pretty little mauve tone, and then it's just like, okay, it sort of look dead. I definitely like that as a transition shade. But now that I have it down, I'm actually gonna take some more of it and blend it up even higher, because the next step I'm gonna do is going to require me to bring the next shade up higher, and then we won't see this anymore and won't be as good, and I'll be really sad. So here we go. Bringing it up almost all the way to the brow, honestly. On my MAC 217 brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Bloomin', which is kind of like a warm brown, almost mauve with some glitter in it, but it's a matte, sort of like one of those sequin shades from the Tati palette. And I'm gonna pack that from the lash line all the way right up into the crease and then blend it into that mauve shade that we just put down. Wow, that mauve just came out so queens. Mauve. Oh, ooh, we like that. We are a fan of Bloomin'. I'm gonna blend the edge of that with a little bit more of Labyrinth on the same beige number 6 brush. So when I was doing the video with the Tarte palette, I was saying that I felt like those sequin shades didn't really translate any of the glitter texture that's in them on the lid. And one of you lovely, lovely humans told me that if you do it with your finger, it comes out a lot better. So I'm gonna go into Bloomin' on my ring finger and just try pressing it across my lid like that, just to get some of that texture and hopefully make it a little bit more even, because it was looking a little bit uneven on certain parts of the, ooh, oh, that worked. Oh, you guys are so smart. Oh my God, that came out so much better. Hell yeah, you guys got the best suggestions. Okay, I added my concealer and a bunch of powder again. And what I'm gonna do for the lower lash line, I'm going to do the same color as I did on the top, but with a caveat. First, I'm gonna take my beige number 7. I'm gonna go into the shade Skipper and I'm gonna blend out the lower lash line with this more purpley toned shade. Is this a purple? What would you call that? A magenta, perhaps? That way it gives like a little bit of an extra little pop of a hint of color, but nothing crazy. I kind of just really wanted to keep this like a blown out softy soft look. I'm bringing that down fairly low, but we're gonna blend a lot of it away anyway. I'm gonna grab a clean brush and just blend the edge of that out. See what I mean? How much we lose because we have all that powder down. It's like very, very blendy. And go really low and like readjust pretty easily. Right now I look like one of those white rabbits that has the pink eyes. Do you know what I'm talking about? But like, it's okay. It's gonna all come together, I think. I'm gonna take a pencil brush and go back into Bloomin'. It's gonna brush that along the lower lashes. This is so simple, but I really like the way it's turning out. Next, I'm gonna grab a LUXE 141 mini brush and I'm going to go into the shade Winged. It's like a frosty pink shade. I don't know that I love this shade like in and of itself, but I think it'll make a nice inner corner highlight. So that's what I'm gonna use it for right now. I feel like you could definitely do something really rich and dark in the waterline with this look, but since I'm gonna add some jewels and I kind of want it to be a little bit softer and more open looking, I'm going to take my Fake Away pencil again and just run that through my waterline. That way it just brightens the eye and opens it up instead of making it more intense. And like I said earlier, I do want to add some jewels to this look as well. Sometimes I just get on a kick with these things, you know what I mean? This time I'm going to use rose gold ones and I'm going to apply them with the same method I used for the first look, but this time I'm going to do them a little bit more dispersed. So I'm not sure exactly what placement I want to do. I definitely want to do the inner and outer corner. I think I might do one around the lash line, maybe one up here, maybe one lower. I don't know. I think I want to be a little bit more like organic this time. Also, I'm noticing that on the monitor, this color looks like a little bit uneven, but in my mirror it doesn't. It's having one of those situations. And another thing I noticed is that the actual footage usually winds up looking somewhere right in the middle of what I see in person and what I see on the monitor while I'm filming. It's probably not gonna look that patchy to you because it's like a little tiny bit patchy on my monitor. I'm thinking that maybe just like the way the monitor is calibrated just makes the contrast more intense, and that's why I'm seeing any tiny little imperfection, but it doesn't look 100% perfect on there, that's for sure. But regardless, I really like the color and like the blown out smoky effect. So overall, still satisfied. Okay, let's get started. The only one I think that maybe I should move is this one. I think this one's a little bit too low. It's disrupting the flow of the rest of them. I'm just gonna move this up closer to the lash line. Actually, I'm just gonna leave it off completely. It doesn't need to be down there. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna go do this one and then we'll add some lashes and we'll finish up this look. Stand by. All right, I added House of Lashes Siren Double, which are one of my current faves. I also used the NABLA Glimmer Light palette on my cheeks. I used the color Supermoon, which is like the glittery pink. Figured that would pick up nicely with the colors on the eyes. You know what? I kept saying that this was gonna be soft, but really this kind of came out smoky and glam. So you know what? just how life is sometimes. For the lip, I kind of want to use the same sort of a mauve tone that we did in the first look, but I want it to be a little bit lighter today to balance out the smokiness that we accidentally created on the eyes. So I'm going to use the same NABLA Dreamy Creamy lipstick in the color Eve, but this time instead of lining it with a slightly darker shade, I'm going to go ahead and line it with Rosy Magnolia, which is also like a pinky nude. So that way we just get like a nice juicy nude that's on the mauve side, but we don't like deepen it up with any other shades, you know what I'm saying? And this is the second look. Okay, so with 2 looks down, let's talk about this palette for a moment. Overall, I think it's a very pretty palette. I do have just a couple of minor issues with it. First of all, this shade that I use all over the lid, Bloomin', is beautiful. It works a lot better when pressed in with your finger, like a couple of you pointed out, so thank you again for that. I also think though that for some reason, a couple of little areas of it look a bit uneven. It's very hard to see in person, but I'm definitely seeing it on my monitor here, and I don't love that. I wish that it would just look perfectly even, so I don't have to wonder if I'm missing any spots. Another small issue I have with it is there is no matte dark shade to like deepen up a look with. The darkest shade is Bloomin', which it definitely could work to deepen up some looks, especially if you have a light skin tone, but I don't know, a completely matte darker shade would have been ideal. I think that's usually very, very handy and something that is a necessity in a palette. And finally, my biggest issue with this, the 2 pressed glitters in here, I didn't even touch them today. Pressed glitters are almost never eye safe in these palettes, and I quite frankly just don't understand why. ColourPop, stop putting these in here, please. Thank you so much. Like, if I can't put it on my lid, it's kind of useless. And like I always say, I know I've said this 1,000 times, so those of you who watch my videos all the time are probably sick of hearing it, but it's a bigger deal when a glitter is not considered eye safe. With a shadow, it's usually just an issue of staining on the lid, which legally makes it not eye safe. But with a glitter, it can be because the particles of glitter are not safe to get into your eye, especially during the removal process, or if there's any fallout, and it can actually injure your eye. So it's a bigger deal to have a glitter not be eye safe, in my opinion, than a shadow. I don't like to fuck around with that. Like, even if I want to take a chance on myself, I don't want to encourage you guys to do it. So like, just why? All of the other shades perform beautifully. The color Glider is absolutely gorgeous. I love like a vibrant red pink shade. I'm so into that. There was a lot of fallout with that shade, but that's what you're gonna get when you have a very soft pigmented shadow like that. It does seem like ColourPop may have gone back to the cardboard packaging, which I know a lot of people prefer, so that's a good thing. The design of the packaging is pretty cute. I don't know if it's especially my style, but the butterfly in the middle is very pretty, and it did give us inspiration for the first look. Overall, ColourPop always makes really good quality pressed shadows in a palette form for a pretty affordable price, and this is really no different. I just really wish that they would ditch the pressed glitters. That would really make my life a lot better, especially because the ones with the pressed glitter in it seem to be more expensive. So, I mean, get them out of there, you know? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you picked up any of the butterfly palettes. Did you pick up this one? Are you picking up the gold one, or one of the other several that have launched in the last couple of weeks? Because we know that ColourPop never sleeps. Don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, because it's very helpful and I would really appreciate it. And if you're new around here, you enjoyed this video, you want to keep hanging out and talking about makeup and stuff, go ahead and subscribe, because I would love to have you around for future videos. And if you want to keep up with me between those videos, go ahead and find me on Instagram. I'm at Ms. Quinface over there. I post all sorts of close-ups of the makeup we do here. Sometimes I post more intricate lip art and stuff. Post on my stories all the time. We do behind the scenes PR unboxings. I run my polls over there, all sorts of good stuff. So come over there and find me. I would love to have you. I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next one. 'Cause you had a bad day. Oh my God, did you guys just see what happened? I love it. Thank you so much for watching.